All right, let's move on to another important conversation. As South Africa intensifies the preparations to host the upcoming G20 summit in November, the Tourism Department is hosting the first ever two-day tourism investment summit and the G20 Tourism Ministers Meeting. Now, the two events, which are held under the South Africa's G20 presidency, are aimed at boosting investment in the tourism sector. Let's find out a little bit more about where we are in terms of preparing for this summit and where does tourism fit into this picture. The minister responsible for that portfolio is Patricia De Lille, and she joins us tonight. Minister, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. I worry about the flickering light on your face, and I hope that's going to be sorted soon. I'm not sure if it is load shedding. I would hope not. Not at a time like this. Minister, jokes aside, where are we in terms of preparedness to host the G20 summit? And let's fit in tourism as to how involved you are going to be.
Thank you for the opportunity. Indeed, it's a very busy month for the Department of Tourism and the sector. Tomorrow we will be hosting the inaugural Tourism Infrastructure Investment Summit. We have prepared 8 projects, bankable projects, to the value of 1 billion rand that we will be putting out to investors tomorrow, that's coming from all over the world, and the G20 ministers. We will also make this an annual event. Then we also have our inaugural hackathon, where we brought 18 universities together and started a competition amongst our universities and our young people to come up with digital solutions for the future of tourism. And then on the 12th of September, in Mpumalanga, I will be hosting the G20 Tourism Ministers plus 8 guest countries, where we are going to discuss 4 deliverables and an action plan. So also during this month of September, Sandparks is offering to all South Africans free access to our parks across the country. Of course, it doesn't include accommodation. And then we have also launched the Short Left campaign, where more than 600 deals have been loaded onto the website of SA Tourism, where people can get discounts up to 50%. So we are really busy, Xoli, to make sure that we market our country to the best of our ability.
I'm glad you touch on the element of marketing the country, Minister, because based on the latest statistics, South Africa is number 4 after Morocco, Egypt, and Tunisia. What's being done to try and make sure that we actually occupy position number 1? Because understandably, this is where we belong. And I take you back to the 2019 commitment of making sure that 21 million visitors come to this country on a yearly basis.
First of all, the target in my performance agreement that I've signed with the president, we have adjusted the 21 million after COVID, and so the target now is 15 million. But I'm glad to raise the issue of competition. It's not acceptable but that we are number 4th in the continent. Yes, we have got competition, but that's why for the past 2 years, we have been working very hard with the private sector to diversify our tourism offering. You know, there's a perception that South Africa is all about safaris and Table Mountain. Yes, those are iconic sites that people must still go and visit. But we've now brought in sports tourism. We're working with DSEC on the Live Golf, the F1 bit, and also the 2027 Cricket World Cup. We're also bringing in what we've got to offer in our small towns, our villages, and small dorpies in our rural areas. We're also expanding to the less visited provinces to show what we can offer as a country. So we have changed our marketing strategy exactly because we want to be number one in the continent. But a lot of hard work lies forward, and really I depend on the collaboration with the private sector to drive the tourism marketing agenda.
Yeah. And of course, Minister, you say all of these things that make me almost link this as a threat, because you're talking about marketing the country. I was talking to one of the board members here who is part of this team that has now been dissolved. And they're saying South African tourism as a marketing agency is basically rendered dysfunctional because of what has been happening at leadership level. If you read today, for example, Kanita Hunter, who writes on News 24, she says that what is happening with tourism in South Africa has little to do with tourism itself. Instead, it's to do with politics. Politics is throttling tourism. Do you accept that criticism?
No, at all. People are entitled to their opinions, and we all have opinions, but people are not entitled to their own facts. And there's absolutely no crisis in tourism at all. If you look at, from the public sector, we invest 1 billion rand to market South Africa. But the private sector that we are working close with, they invest about 30 billion to also market South Africa as an attractive tourist destination. And so what we have built up, and with the working together with the private sector and also with small towns and villages, is to get that key message to make sure that we attract more tourists coming to South Africa. And we've seen the results of that. We have seen that over just if you take United States of America, I think Trump is one of our best promoters, because the growth that we've seen from the American traveler is that they have now exceeded the UK visitors to our country, because they want to come and see really what is happening in our country. So yes, the potential is there, and we are focusing on the positive. And the positive is to grow the tourism sector. The matter of the board is now sub judice. We have instructed our lawyers on Friday to file a motion to oppose their application, and therefore I will not go into further details. But I can assure you, this thing about crisis because there's no board is absolutely not true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me end on that score, Minister, and say to you, as a question though, that at the moment you are facing two legal challenges. The one is by a previous board, and the latest is the recently dissolved board. Yes, all of these is going to be discussed in court, the merits therefore, and that's why you use the rule of sub judice, which I accept. But do you believe that you will survive this? Two legal battles.
Xoli, what I can respond is that the law matters, that every cent in our country matters. And my oath of allegiance that I have taken in terms of the Constitution is to protect. And therefore, based on legal advice that I have received, and it's people's right to go to court, I will never deny anybody that right in terms of Section 38 in our Constitution, access to our courts. But all of these allegations need to be tested. We can't accept them as be the truth right now. And I'm prepared to subject myself if there's a different interpretation from the dissolved board or the previous board. But I can tell you, the one vindication for me, Xoli, is that this is the second board that I've dissolved. The first one, I saved the country 1 billion rand because I was able to stop that board from signing a deal with Tottenham Hotspurs. That's why I say the law matters and every cent matters. And if the courts found me to have been acting outside of my mandate, I will also accept that because we have got an independent judiciary in our country.
Patricia De Lille, thank you very much for your time. The Minister of Tourism, thanks indeed for your time tonight.